What up? It's Jimmy from odds.com. This is a clip from our big March Madness NCAA tourney South Region breakdown. To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. We move on 3 p.m. Eastern. We're in the South Region. Number 15, Oral Roberts Golden Eagles, 16-10 versus number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes. We're at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. We have Ohio State opening up as 17-point favorites. That's moved to 16.5. The first 16 is on the board now, and it's from an indicator book. The total opened up at 154.5. It's climbing. It's all the way up to 156.5. Very interesting. And let's break this down. Oral Roberts finished the season winning 5 straight games, culminating with winning the Summit League final 75-72 over North Dakota. They built a 45-20 lead and just barely held on. First tournament title for Oral Roberts since 2007-08. Max Abmas scored 23.7 assists, 4 boards. He averages 24.2 points per game, hits 43.3% from 3. 6'9" junior Kevin Obanor went for 21 points, 9 boards. He averages 18.2 points, 9.5 boards. And senior RJ Glassberry, the only other Golden Eagle that scores double digits at 11 points per game. Oral Roberts shoots the ball very well. They score 81.8 points per game. They hit 45.4% from the field, 39% from 3, and 82.4 from the line. Ohio State had their impressive Big Ten tournament run end in the final, losing 91-88 to Illinois in overtime. Dwayne Washington Jr. had a career-high 32 points. He leads the team, averaging 16.3 on the year. Justin Sewing added 22. C.J. Walker, 16, 6-4. E.J. Liddell, 12, 7-4. 6'8" senior Kyle Young missed the last 2 games with a concussion. He's listed as questionable to play here. Ohio State scores 77.3 points per game. They only turn the ball over 10.4 times per game. They hit 46% from the field, 36.5 from 3, and 76.3% from the stripe. Interesting matchup here, 3 p.m. Eastern in the South. Oral Roberts, Ohio State. Max, take it away.
Yeah, Jim, with this game, I think that I'm not really looking at the spread as far as for a show pick. I'm more looking at the total because there are some definite question marks when I look at this matchup from a side perspective. First off, without having Kyle Young in the lineup, he probably makes a difference, and you may have been able to beat Illinois if he had played in the Big Ten championship. And you're going to need Justice or EJ to both give you good offensive games to cover this number. And listen, Dwayne Washington's been unleashed. I don't think that you can get him back in the box, so you might as well let him roll. The emotion, the energy that guy brings, the ice in his vein, I don't even like Ohio State. They protect sexual predators, and I even got excited watching that shit. So I think that with Dwayne Washington, the guy's hit 86 threes. He's hit 75 free throws. That's good offensive production in such a deep, talented offensive team that Chris Holtmann has at Ohio State. He thrives as the alpha, and he's going to have to thrive against this Oral Roberts team because they got 2 alphas, and those 2 alphas they can produce give you 80 points in the game, 70 points in the game. We know Max Abamas, the nation's leading scorer, he can give you 40 plus. And listen, with his ability to get to the free throw line, his ability to stretch the defense at the 3-point line, he rarely turns the ball over. He always takes smart shots. He really plays into the defense and really attacks their vulnerability. He plays intact all the time. He's never getting emotional. His ability to draw fouls, to extend his range, and his great release, he's just a guy that you just have to hope he doesn't put up 40 against you. He's going to score 20. It's just a matter of how much more above that. And with Kevin O'Banner, Jim, he's got to stay on the floor. He's a dangerous player from all 3 levels when he's able to stay out of foul trouble. But that's a big if because for some reason, he's attracted to situations that he can get a block in, but he misjudges them over and over again, ends up with early fouls, and that will shoot Oral Roberts in the foot in this matchup because I don't think they're going to have RJ Glasper. I think he's still injured. So the thing that people will say about Oral Roberts, and obviously I'm not listening to people, but I hear things, is that Oral Roberts played all these tough Big 12 and SEC teams and American Athletic Conference teams, tough in the non-conference, covered 3 or 4 spreads in this point range. Well, I'll say that RJ Klasper was in the lineup for all those games, and without him, that's definitely a big loss. Can Oral Roberts exploit the pick and roll or score in the post versus Ohio State team? If they can do both, then they have a chance. This pick and pop offense that they're running over there, Oral Roberts, is definitely tough to stop because it doesn't give you a lot of time to react. I think that with the poor defense that this Oral Roberts team plays, they got to score an absurd amount of points and have a very hot start offensively to have a chance to cover in this game. And if Kevin O'Banner goes out early, this team plays very differently without him. I think that the X factor for Ohio State is going to be Seth Towns. He's going to be able to show that he can play Big Ten ball. He is strong. He's able to freaking guard without leaving his foot, and he's able to freaking keep his arms away from getting these weak touch fouls. He's a guy that can body a guy down low. And like I said, when you can defend without leaving your feet, it definitely allows you to get better position to get those defensive rebounds. And he's going to have to. So with Ohio State, you're going to need good first half play. You're going to need better second half adjustments. But it's the same thing with Oral Roberts. Defense is going to have to limit the amount of volume that Oral Roberts is going to be able to put up. And you got to stop putting them on the free throw line. There's going to be a lot of opportunities when they're going to the rim. It's going to be a matter of, can you step in, take a charge before the Zebras blow the foul the other way? And with Ohio State, if you don't have Kyle Young, it's going to be even more important to score off those second chance opportunities. Try and force more turnovers. And listen, draw the bigs out of the paint to open up the lanes and the area to drive for justice. So the only way I can play this game for the show, Jim, and for the odds.com audience who are great people is to take the over. It's a big number. You need a lot of points per minute. But with the way that this team plays defense, it's not out of this world that Ohio State scores 100 in this game.
Wow. Very interesting. Well, we have 156.5. We have 156, and we have a couple 155.5s. The 156, though, is at minus 105 towards the over. Would you like over 156 at minus 105, or would you like the 155.5 at minus 110?
No, I'll take the 155.5.
155.5. So that's available at Circa. And it was also available. So Fox Bet has the 156. It must have been BetMGM. Over 155.5 at minus 110 at BetMGM and Circa. We will lock Max up right now. Oral Roberts, Ohio State over 155.5 minus 110. Circa Sports. Great breakdown, Max. Very interesting. We move on.
Jim, actually, yeah. I'm sorry to stop you, but
no worries.
You know what? Let's gamble a little. Let's take an additional total. Let's take a plus price on the total.
Let me see what I can offer you here.
I just don't see how this game doesn't get into the 160s. The more I think about it while I'm sitting here talking to you.
So basically they're giving you 10 cents a point. So the 157's minus 105. That's too bad because they've got this line at 156.5. So maybe I should find a different alternative because Bet365 I just went to first. They get the 159.5 at plus 120. Let me see what I can get from FanDuel here. Oh, but they're also 156.5. So what I got to do is I got to go to the 155s. And let me try this here. Totals. Okay, here we go. Alternate totals here. This should be better. Yes, this will be better. So they're giving you plus 110 at 157.5 at BetMGM. So plus 120 at, this is much better, at 158.5. At 159.5 plus 135.
That's the one, Jim.
Wow. So do you want both or just this one?
No, let's just take the one. Let's just take the one.
Over 159.5 at plus 135. Really interesting take, Max. So let's lock that in. Over 159.5 at plus 135. Available at BetMGM. That was fascinating. That was cool. All right.
Jim, what do we know about totals that I've talked about on our videos over and over this year? That the totals, a lot of the time, I've lost track and gave up trying to track it. They finish above or below the closing line by 4 points a lot of the time. So I think that this is no exception.
I love it. Over 159.5 at plus 135. Available at BetMGM. Extremely fascinating.